afternoon to everyone once again. Thanks for joining us in another Amazon Live webinar. My name is Xin Liang and I will be the host for the day, and I have gladly invited Hui Qi, our ads manager, and Martina, our account manager, to join us for the session today about listing optimizations and some of the tips you can leverage for BFCM for Amazon ads. So I think they can give a short intro of themselves later as well. So I'm going to just start quickly. A quick introduction of my team. I'm in the seller education team, which is part of global selling team and part of Amazon. So what you're watching now is the Amazon Live webinar. And also we have an ongoing initiative like Amazon Seller University. So seller education as a whole provide free education and training to a variety of learning programs like the live webinar and Seller University one-pager and short videos that you always see on Seller Central and YouTube. So the recording will be available end of the day at our official YouTube playlist. And also, again, if you have any question, put it at the question box on your right-hand side. So if you're watching this recording maybe a few months down the road, do always look for the latest one. All right, and then especially for things like policy, etc., do always refer to Seller University or Seller Central Help for the most updated information. Okay, these are some important notices, and then I'll move on to share the agenda, and I'll pass it on to Martina shortly.
Hello, everybody. This is Hui Qi. Hi. Okay, so Jin Yang said that to give a quick introduction, I'm Martina. I'm an account manager in charge of Malaysia for virtual sellers who wants to onboard to the US or Amazon.com. And I'm very grateful that he invited me to share more listing optimizations for you guys, and as well as some tips. Okay, so feel free to drop any questions that you guys have. Yeah. Let's carry on. So basically for today, this is the content that we are talking about. We're going to look, so I'll be going through 1 to 4, okay, and then Hui Qi will be going through number 5. Okay, yeah. So first one, the recap on previous listing related topics, right? Basically, you know, this is all the most important one where the consumers come in first, right? Where our customers are entering from. Okay, so if you see here, these are the entry points for the traffic coming in, right? Number 1 is your search terms. 2, your browse node. Basically, it is the specific category that you would like for your product to be in. Okay, so that customers can actually find what they're actually looking for. Okay, number 3, number 3 is the main image, right? And then number 4, it will be the title, which is you can see on top over here. Number 5, your sponsored product display area. So on the top, you will see that there will be basically looking at your brand, right? With 3 products that you can choose from. And then 6 ones is the sponsored brands, right? 7, if you see on the listing over here, there is basically this table, this tiny flag that says save 5%, so that's your coupon if you would like to give your customer a special coupon. And also it's important so that it will increase your conversion. So this is all the traffic flows that you want to take note of. Okay, that being said, right, so how to increase the traffic to your listings? Okay, very hot topic. Okay, so number 1 basically is that your customers actually come to the shopping results page, right, which is your impressions. And number 2, basically what they do is that they click on the shopping results page that they go to the detailed page from. So basically is that if today I'm selling like sunscreen, right, I will just search sunscreen, and then that's where all the shopping results will come out from. Okay, so how to get more impressions is that you want to make sure that your keywords your keywords, leaf notes, and ads are being used properly, right? Number 2 is that from coming to the search page, how do we go into your own particular listing, right? And this is basically dealing with your title, your main image, price, logistic info, as well as number of reviews. So we do have these tools to actually help you to basically improve your listing quality. Okay, and number 3 is then we want to actually create a very healthy cycle, right, whereby it's for your ranking of your product, recommendations, reviews, rating, and the badge. So this is how you can increase the traffic to your listing. Right, so title rules, right? When you actually have your product title, some basic requirements are as follows, right? Very important is that, you know, you want to make sure that if you have a bundled product, okay, make sure that you have pack of like 6 or pack of 12, so that the customer knows what they're actually getting, okay? For your title, do not use all caps, like, I know you really want to sell, right? But don't like blast it out there. Okay, that being said, if let's say you have like pack of 2, right, do type the number 2 instead of spell it out. This really just because of all the algorithm and to make sure that the search is more relatable to your listing itself. That being said, I think the rest are quite self-explanatory, but the last one that I want to make sure is that the subjective comments, which is hot item and best sellers, this will trigger basically Amazon to kind of capture and basically search suppress your listing. Very important, and basically coming to BFCM, you do not want your listing to be search suppressed. Okay. Now, with title rules, how do we actually write a good title, right? Is that you have your keywords. So basically your product positioning terms, or basically what will shoppers actually use to search for your product, right? After that, then we'll go with terms of selling point. Like for example, like let's say like sunscreen, you know, non-oily kind of main feature and easy to read and to understand, right? You want to keep it very simple, as well as like someone like if the moment I search it, I know what I'm finding for. Okay, so we recommend the format over here, right? Where you see the brand name plus most important keywords, as well as the characteristics or basically features of your product, as well as other kind of like specifics or audience that you want to look for. So the example is ABC brand, okay, Bluetooth speaker. The features is that it's 6 watts, deep bass portable waterproof speakers for outdoor activities, right? So if today I'm somebody who wants to go camping and I'm like, oh, you know, I want some music, I'll probably search something like Bluetooth speaker, outdoor, or waterproof, right? And then this will definitely come out because it's really in sync with what I'm searching for. Okay, so the key points to write a listing title, number one is to lead with most important 3 to 5 keywords, right? You don't want it to be too long because otherwise there's too much for the algorithm to capture. You want to make sure that it is this length, okay, as well as the core selling points of what the customer care about. I think this is one very big thing where sellers always say like, oh, this is my most famous point, or this is like, but it's not about, sometimes we have to think about what the customers are looking for, right? Whereby in terms of like your reviews or what, it's maybe best to use the opportunity, product opportunity explorer in your seller central to know what keywords you should be looking out for, because customers will probably write that in their reviews. Okay, as well as no grammatical or spelling mistakes, no Chinese expressions, because you are targeting, basically US customers today. Okay, so yeah, so title rules, a summary, right, to optimize all of this. Okay, so again, the highlight for keywords, definitely lead with most important 3 to 5 keywords. Okay, selling points, the core selling point that your customer really care about, right? Aesthetic, you know, do make sure that you comply with our Amazon title format. The length, right? Don't write a whole paragraph, okay, because it's really too long, right? You want to make sure that, you know, because customer probably has like 3 to 5 seconds to actually make a judgment on the product, right? So you want to make sure that it is super like very concise and know what I'm getting. And the expression, again, no grammatical error. So yes. Okay, so these are some examples that are not allowed in a title. Please do not use them again. Definitely, I know, you know, everyone here has our own bestsellers, but please refrain from using it. Okay, so next we'll go in terms of main image rules. A lot of sellers always ask, do I need to actually upload a photo with a white background? Do I need to show this? Do I need to show that? Why will Amazon wants me to show so many things, right? Now, definitely in the green thumbs up, definitely these are photos that we actually approve. Okay, now the reason why we don't approve some photos in the thumbs down is that number one, the background is not pure white and it makes it very difficult for the customer to see what they're getting. Okay, product not filling frame, meaning to say that it's maybe too small, the customer can't really tell in terms of the details of the product, whether the product is cropped, right? So the photo, if it's cropped, you know, they can't really see what's the full thing. And also with the next photo with the sofa and some like vase, you don't know what you're buying. Are you buying the vase? Are you buying the sofa? Nobody knows. Do not include text and graphics because that might mislead the customer as well, right? As well as product is not color balanced. If let's say I would like to sell, I would like to buy a gray chair, and then suddenly it's a brown chair. It's like not right. Okay, so these are why photos are really, really very important. And as well as simple things like why we have all of these criteria is so that the images that is being shown to customers will basically minimize your return rate as well. If, at this point in time, a lot of sellers, they always say like, oh, they just put photos. And when the customer reviews it and they're like, oh, I got my product and it's different, that's where the return rate starts to increase. So do make sure of the importance of images. It's very, very important. Okay, so some main rules, right? Again, to reiterate, the main images must have a pure white background. Okay, it must be high quality so that customers can actually zoom into your product to see the main details. Like for example, sometimes they like to look at like the ingredients of your product, to make sure that it is like gluten-free or if not there some allergy kind of concerns. Also, when you display your product, do make sure that it's a single front angle, right? You do not want the product to be like of a real angle because then it's very hard to see. As well as logos, watermarks, you can't have that. Basically, your product must occupy 85% so that the customer knows that this is what I'm actually buying. And then also, yeah, format JPEG, TIFF, GIF files. Yes, we actually accept that. Main images for shoes should be a single shoe facing left at a 45-degree angle. Basically, it's just to show like the kind of like a bit of the front and the side, right? Because the shoe, that's all the design and the beauty with it. And then for women and men's clothes, it must be on a model, right? Because if I wear it and we see where's it, she probably looks better. So yes, okay. So these are all the main image rules that, yeah, probably you guys are experienced on new sellers that are just launched, right? These are some things that will really make a difference. Okay, so how to actually improve a listing main image, right? Sometimes you want to put some shadows and reflection so that it's realistic, right? It's realistic, it's relatable. Customers see and say, hey, I can imagine me using this as well. If let's say today you're using furniture, you want to photograph the actual item to actually show some sort of like, how to use it or what are the features. For jewelry, you want to use an angle whereby you can show like a product selling point, right? For example, like let's say you're selling earrings, right? You wouldn't want to just put it just a design. You want to show how it's being worn. Can it be dangled? Can it be like, yeah, basically that. So all of these things are all recommendations that you can use. For apparel, you want to have it on a live model to actually show how is it being fit. Like for women, there's so many different body sizes as well as shapes, so that it will be good. For shoes as well, again, 45-degree angle because you want to make sure that the customer knows what they're going to get, right? For AEs, from account manager's perspective, I cannot reiterate this much because as a seller, you really do not want to have a lot of returns that just opens up a lot of cannot. Yes. Okay. Now, number two, let's go to factors that help your listing promote conversion, which is what we all love. We love the conversion part. Okay, browse note, very, very important. Okay, do not be lazy when it comes to listing your product. Basically, if you don't set up your browse note and refinements, right, you will not be included in any detailed search. Okay, next one is your search terms. So basically the words that describe your product. It could be a word, a phrase that you use. Basically, you want to put in as much keywords so that the algorithm can capture. So if today I'm searching like non-oily sunscreen, right? And if you just put sunscreen, your listing will probably be at the bottom. Right? Somebody who have used non-oily sunscreen for acne skin, for example, would be on top. Okay, next one, product title, right? So product title is the most, I would say it's kind of like the first or second area that sellers, that customers will see, right? They will say like, oh, okay, what is that? Right? So you want to make sure to capture people and say that, yes, if you want to buy sunscreen today, I have a sunscreen for you. Okay, and product images, as what mentioned just now, right? Really, really important. I think product image will be like the first one that customers will see straight away, right? So you want to make sure that it's a clear, defined photo, as well as have variety of photos to show, how does the product look in a certain angle. If it's a bag, can I sling it? Can I carry on my backpack? As well as different usage for it. Can I use it on the outdoors? Can I use it during a dinner? So on and so forth. Okay, for bullet points, okay, bullet points very, very important. Actually, I keep saying everything very important now, but this one also quite important. Okay, this is probably like the bullet points where if today I have like 10 seconds to know what this product is about, bullet points is your way, it is the area that you should be focusing on. It's basically the 5 main features that you want to let the customer learn about you, right? Like for example, today, if I'm a product, I would like you to know that I'm a Malaysian account manager, right? Straightforward, right? Don't write like a super long story because that will be for like your A plus content below where you can show more of your branding, your brand features, what's the inspiration from the brand, right? So that's that. Product description is basically is a detailed description then that to supplement the bullet points, right? So bullet points like a summary. Product description is where you should be writing in more detail in terms of what are the product's functions, as well as basically letting the customer know, if you use my product, what are the advantages, what are some things that they can actually pair it with. Yeah. So well-written ones can actually help consumers to actually imagine how does it feel like to own the product. Okay, and last one is your A plus content. This one is really for conversion sake, right? Because if today the top part, the listing title, the images, the bullet points are like, wow, I am mesmerized by it. I would scroll down. It would trigger my action to scroll down to look at the A plus content to learn more about your product, right? So that being said, A plus content is where you show like your whole card set, right? You show hand already. You show them and say that this product can do this, can do that. What are the complementary goods? Is there any bundles that you're doing? What are the comparison with other products, and so on and so forth. Okay, so hang in. We are at number 3 now. Okay, we are left with 4 and 5. So yeah, so just hang in. I know it's a lot of information, but feel free again to drop your questions down so that we can answer all the questions. Okay, so number 3, improving listings to attract more traffic, alternate images, right? So what is this? What is other images that we need to put in? Basically, again, images are basically for humans are naturally visual, right? We see things we like, we buy, right? So these are where images are really important and it really impacts your click-through rate. Okay, I think probably for customers or for AEs, what we study is that in terms of is your listing getting click-through rates in terms of from the search page and the click-through rate in terms of the conversion. That is what we actually look at, right? So in terms of this, having other images really highlight the product selling points as well as increase customer interest for the customer to stay engaged in your listing, right? So in this case, at the bottom you see that how is this shelf being look like in your house, right? In terms of the bags, very detailed kind of images in terms of like the zip, how does it look, how is the hook like. For the brush, you can literally see like every strand of hair on the makeup brush. The towel looks very soft and fluffy. All of these things is something that you really want to make sure that the customer can feel it. And the last one, if you see that, if I'm not wrong, this some like shaver that is like really powerful with the blue. Yeah, these are some things that really impact the customer journey. Okay, so some characteristics like you can see, realistic scenes is very, very important. If today you are selling to the US, you do want to make sure that you are in a US kind of environment, maybe like a house in the US, or if not, use like models from there, or like basically to localize it, right? To make people feel more relatable to the product. Okay, as well as actual colors is very, very important. You do want to make sure that you have good lighting so that customers can see as well. You can edit the photos, but try not to make it so not fake. Basically, try to keep it as real as possible because, again, it's about the return rates. Okay, do highlight your product details with close-up and good contrast, right? So it allows the customer. I would say for photos, you can be more critical with it because you want the customer to know exactly what they're gonna get, right? And in this case, when you build credibility with the customer will actually result in a return purchase as well. So in this case, as a seller, you can think about it as a new purchase and a return purchase for concurrent sales. Okay, as well as sometimes, right, simplicity is really the best and the consistent formatting of the whole photo. because the thing is, with different photos, if you use two different, very vast kind of styles of photos, right, it's very difficult for the customer to actually know what you're actually selling or what your branding is, right? So if naturally your brand is like you use mute colors, you know, very kind of like calm, moody kind of style, then suddenly you use like a red color, right? It's gonna be like, wait, what? It looks very weird, right? So you do want to actually entice the customer to actually ease in, and by doing that, actually simple and consistent formatting across all photos really makes the seller journey, sorry, not seller, customer journey really smooth. Okay. That being said, do not use two similar images, right? Don't, because it doesn't actually value add, right? If today I'm a customer and I see like, what is it? What's the difference? So don't do that. As well as over here, if you see the photos are too saturated, or basically it's like super like Photoshop, right? So don't do that because it's it doesn't look nice. You know, it makes the customer feel like this seller a bit fishy, right? Yeah. Okay. Over here, if you see the model, the color, and the use scene, right, it doesn't really harmonize in terms of the local customers. I would say probably if here, if let's say today you're selling to Japan, perhaps yes, you might, but in other marketplaces, it's not very relatable. Okay, so basic requirement again, it should really revolve around the core selling points of the product. Don't be afraid to repeat because the customer will not understand what your product is from the first go, right? Do repeat your core selling point and your keywords, as well as use text and numbers to show the product in use, right? To make sure that they can actually visualize them using it. Like for example, the third photo where the girl is like sleeping on the chair. Yes, I can totally visualize me doing that. So, okay. And last but not least, localize the style, very, very important. I think this is one part where sellers always like overlook. It's not that they are lazy, but it's more about they just say like, okay, I have all these nice photos, let me try. Do actually modify your models, people who are looking at it. There are more body shapes now, petite, big, on top big, below small, there's so many, right? So really, this is one very simple tip, but it's like really useful. Okay, for household products, again, right, if let's say you're selling to Japan, right, you want to have a Japanese style, very minimalist. If it's a Western home environment, you want to make sure that it is, yeah, really like lively. Okay, so yeah, so you can see the difference, right? Where it's not saying that Japanese home is not lively, but there is that vast difference. Okay, for consumer electronics, if today you are selling consumer electronics, right? That being said, I would say it kind of follow the same pattern between Japan and the US. They're roughly the same. Most of them they really have to focus on like the functionality of it, the portable battery, how small is it, how light is it, how many hours can my portable charger charge for, so on and so forth. Okay, and that being said, if let's say you want to the season, right, for summertime, you want to hit like blue, green, yellow, very cool colors. Yeah. Okay, and then for spring, where you go to the park, you want to have like nice cooler and butterfly nets, or if not bicycle and tent, this kind of like photos. Okay, definitely for our festive period that is coming up next, warm reds and orange, if you want to kind of change up your A+ content, you can do so as well. Some sellers, they change like their brand store to like a Christmas theme, right? And it is worth it because it's really a whole journey for the seller, for the customer to actually follow through. Okay, and very important, this one bullet points, okay, really, yes, okay, if let's say today you have 5 things to tell your customer from, what would you like to tell? That's basically that. Okay, so bullet points again conveys important product features, right? A lot of sellers always tell me to say like, oh, my product is so important, and they put the same thing in their bullet point, they put the same thing in the A+ content, they put the same thing in their title. And by then, right, it's just all the same, right? There's no progression of the information that's being said, and the seller doesn't really understand, like, okay, so how does it help me? And chances are that sometimes when you're a seller, right, you are very in tune with your product, so you may not be able to see what the customers are looking for. So try to ask somebody who do not know about your product to ask them like, what do you want to know about my product? And then from there, you can kind of devise your bullet points. Okay, so for bullet points, very importantly, highlight important or special information about the product, right? As well as closely match your customer review content. Even if today you're just a new seller and you don't have reviews, you can always look at competitors' kind of listings in terms of reviews. Again, you can use your product opportunity explorer that you can find at your growth page on your Seller Central. Okay, so how to write bullet points, very important. Basically, you want to have the characteristics, the functionality, the specification, the use, and the basically the features of it. Okay. Right, so here's a case study. Okay, if today we are actually selling this robot vacuum cleaner that vacuums everything in the house on the floor, what we will probably say is that it's super easy to use, ease of operation, right? One button control. I press this button, right? It will vacuum my whole house, which is great. Strong suction. I don't know whether anybody got hair, got pets here. Not hair. Pet hair here. I have a lot of. I have 2 dogs, so wow. So I will find something that is strong suction, right? That can vacuum my hair, can vacuum my pet's hair, and as well. 3 cleaning modes, right? Auto, serpentine, and cleaning. Smart features basically is that don't go and like hit my dog or go and hit my pet. It just autos like change around. That's something that I would love to. As well as the thickness of it, that it should probably be really skinny so that it can go through my bed and my sofa really clean. Now, if you hear these 5 bullet points, you probably say, wow, this robot is really very good, right? Now, these bullet points actually kind of like subconsciously encapsulate all of the features whereby customers actually use this to find a product. So do make sure to actually, I would say craft a bullet point, spend more time on bullet points as well. Okay, as well as for this, this very, very nice bracelet, right? So if you see here before optimization, right, there's just too many words, right? You see on the side that there's only this, I don't know how to pronounce it, germanium. Yeah, so I'm like, what is this, right? And then it actually has rheumatism, arthritis, wow, it's like for everything. But then there's just too many things. There's so many things that I can't focus on. What is the 5 points that I need to know? Okay, so that being said, before we optimize, if you see on the left, right, this is also a one case study that we can see that it's just too many things where if we see if you see the brown color points, right, it's easy to wear, good sound quality, long standby time, water resistant, high is compatible, stable connection, magnetic suction design, and noise cancellation. Really too many. Sellers always feel like, oh, if I put in a lot of bullet points, right, oh, then it's good because there's so much benefits. However, the thing is, consumers, when they read this, it's just too many things that for them to capture. So hence, when they read and it's very difficult to capture, that is where consumers will be like, okay, I shut down, right? So if we optimize it, when we recommend on the right hand side, you see, we change things up in terms of the main point, 7 hours continuous playtime. And then after that, you can describe, right? You can further elaborate what does this 7-hour continuous playtime mean. It's waterproof, right? IP86. To be honest, I don't know what's IP86, but it sounds very technical, so I trust it, right? It's like really waterproof. With nano coating technology. Okay, this kind of thing, I'm like, okay, that's cool. As well as what can I use it for, right? Running, jogging. So if I keep like running around, my earbuds won't actually fall off, right? Which is great. Magnetic design, right? I don't need to care about if, let's say, my earbuds were to fall off if I want to open it, right? It just is magnetic there because it's a pain if you lose the right side and you still have your left side. You don't know what to do with it. Hands-free call with noise cancellation, amazing, right? When you need to, let's say, work and do a call while you're walking, you actually need this a lot. As well as comfortable and stable, right? Whereby you want to make sure that when your customers actually wear it, it's comfortable, as well as it's not like screeching sounds and stuff like that. So in this case, if you see the words in orange, it really just stands out. After the when I read the orange part, then it will make me want to say, okay, because I'm looking for these benefits, I will read further in terms of the elaboration, which further adds on to my understanding of this particular product. Okay, so in terms of bullet points as well, do make use of the local culture and the mindset. So for example, Japan versus US, like we use this machine gun. machine gun, massage gun as an example. Okay, so massage gun basically, I don't know whether, I mean, we do have this in Singapore now. I'm not sure whether anywhere else. But it's actually pretty noisy. So the first thing that people want, right, is that we want to be massage, but we want it to be quiet, right? We don't want it to be like something banging on our that being said, straight away we say quiet, equipped with 24 DDS high power motor, and basically it runs at 45 dB, which is a level of an everyday composition. That's amazing, right? So you can use it at the gym, you can use it at home, and your partner sitting next to you, you can still use it, right? In this case, right, basically the culture between, so for a Japanese, right, if today the customer is Japanese, they will actually like it because it's very quiet, right? But I guess for the culture in Europe and North America is a bit different. So to them, the noise level is not a requirement, right? Perhaps for them it is that is it powerful enough to actually make sure that it targets like their muscles if they're using like if they're bodybuilders or if not for US every day they run something like that, right? You want to make sure that the activities that they do it is what they actually do in that particular country. Okay, also you do want to help shoppers to create a real application scenario, right? So in this case, like for Japan, basically, if let's say today we are actually giving this Bluetooth speaker, we want to make sure that it's a Bluetooth speaker, it is very vintage, very nice, it is basically more suited for like the seniors who love music and appreciate things, right? Yeah. Also, you can add popular phrases like, for example, this picnic mat, it is water resistant. If you spill water when you're eating, it's fine. And you can use on forest, grass, on beach, right? So you want to make sure that it's really applicable and relatable. So yeah, so these are the summaries whereby how much to write your bullet points, use all five. Okay, do not use 2 or 3. Use all 5 because you want to make sure that that is the ample information that the customer really needs. What to write about, what does the customer care, why do customers buy a product in the first place, how to write, type, no, I'm kidding, 1 point, 1 line, right, straight to the point, don't need to write like super long, just tell me what is good about the product. As well as go further in terms of you can make comparisons, or if not, if you need actually any more information, go to your A+ content. Okay, so that is for that's all for me. I will pass on the time to Hui for
Martina has given an excellent kind of overview in terms of essentially how to improve your conversion rate. I think even before running ads, I think the very first step 0 will be essentially to optimize your listings, because even if you aggressively run ads, you spend thousands of dollars during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If your listings are not optimized, you will be wasting quite a lot of ad dollars. And you will not be optimizing for conversion. So do take on a listing check right now already if you haven't, because we're coming very near to Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up on 16th of November. So here we go for our holiday ad strategy. So essentially today we will cover kind of 2 big parts in terms of the ad strategy. So first, it will be kind of this year's holiday season consumer insights. So I'll briefly touch on some research we've noticed about consumption behavior, where they are looking for inspiration to shop, as well as some of the consumer behavior to help them really convert, to really buy and place the order for your listings. Number 2, it will then be the holiday season advertising strategy. For sellers who may have paid attention to Prime Day ad strategy, you will notice it is pretty similar. We will also have a cheat sheet that you can screenshot later on, as well as definitely how to distribute your budget across this holiday season, because Q4 is an interesting period. We have Black Friday, Cyber Monday now. But it doesn't end just there. It goes towards Christmas as well as the New Year's kind of a gifting season. So that's where we also want to allocate our budget appropriately. So going straight into our Christmas holiday Q4 season kind of a consumer insight, we actually see that there are 3 kind of key things to watch out for. Firstly, is consumption behavior. Really right now, how people are kind of working, and behaving in this season, we can actually think of it very similarly to the 2019 pre-pandemic period, where people are ready to vacation, ready to spend up to pre-pandemic levels. Secondly, I think it's channel preference. You can think about this as, where do people actually go to look for inspiration to shop. The gifting, what to buy for people, even just to treat themselves, what are they looking to buy? Definitely there is a huge movement towards online, towards digital and social media. So your off-Amazon marketing activities are also important to link with your Amazon listing as well as your Amazon ads. So definitely, we will try to also look at the channel preference. And of course, number three, we also notice that consumers prefer it when there's optimized delivery for them, for the gifts that they're purchasing, for the products that they're purchasing. So delivery is also something very important. Offering free shipping is going to be a huge push factor for someone to really add to cart and check out right now. So again, just to kind of like take a look at overview, right? Consumers are behaving almost as if it's a 2019 behavior. The holiday season is back. We expect spending for holiday season to even surpass pre-pandemic levels for the first time. You'll see that the average expected spending for holiday season is increasing. We also see this as a reflection from even our Prime Day sales this year. We saw that spending has reached an all-time high in 2023, and we can expect the same for the Q4 season. And there are a few interesting reasons for rising spending, right? People are planning ahead for their shopping this year. Secondly, inflation is a thing, but I think how this works for brands in our favor is also consumers already expect higher prices this year, so you can expect to earn a bit more margin. It's expected for consumers to expect to buy a little bit more this year, so it's good for you to spend on your ad dollars and encourage consumers to buy what they need, as well as to buy gifts towards the end of the year. And we also see that very specific income groups between 50 to 99K and upwards of 200K income group, they are expected to increase their spending the most. So it's a great opportunity again for our sellers on the call here. There's great opportunity. People have the money to spend in certain income groups, and this is a great opportunity for our brands to capture this kind of opportunity for now. Secondly, definitely the increase in holiday spending is very, very dramatic. You'll see the growth of holiday spending has only been around 2.5%, but year-on-year growth is definitely accelerating because consumers are perceiving inflation. So we can expect, average higher holiday spending on gifts, non-gifts, as well as experiences. But you'll see that for gifts, essentially we expect almost even a 9% year-on-year growth rate this year. So Q4 is going to be a great season for us if we play it right. How then do we narrow it down for our consumers? So definitely pay attention to two key categories: daily necessities as well as non-gifts. So the interesting thing is that people are going to purchase more basic items over gifts, and low and middle income group plan to purchase these items more frequently. So there are two key actions coming out of this insight, right? I think deals and coupons are going to be really popular. So you want to advertise your coupon, your deal ASINs. You can call it out on your store as your 2 days deals or your Black Friday deals or your Christmas deals. So you want to call and pay attention and draw consumer attention to those. You also probably want to prioritize some of your hero ASINs that are also your basic items. So it's not all a lost cause. It's not like you have to create exclusive gifting ASINs. I think there's still very great opportunity for your basic items being sold as well. Definitely, we will also see that consumers are modifying their plans when they come to their budget wise. So consumers are actually budgeting more to find good deals and fewer gifts. So another kind of insight we can try is also to do cross-selling, to see if you can offer discounts for cross-selling products. And this ties into ads, right? You can actually cross-sell lower price items or less well-selling items, package it together with your best sellers, and sell it as a package, sell it as a bundle in this Q4 season, again to encourage spending in the Q4 period. Definitely, you will also see that essentially 30% of our shoppers actually account for 70% of our overall sales season. So you want to pay attention to the needs of your big spenders, right? So we notice that most of the time, big spenders start shopping before the end of October already. So you want to be a bit more preemptive. You want to send your social media messages. You want to send, like your emails, any kind of channel you have to keep in contact with your consumer, be it email, be it your Facebook group, you want to start sending a message early. Tell them that, essentially we have sale coming up. You want to tease them and build up the hype for your product before the sale season starts. And then of course, again, as always, apart from just running ads, listing check, quality check for your products is important. And as I mentioned, basic items, etc. Essentially gifts are on top for big spenders as well. So the other second kind of big topic we want to cover for holiday season is how people kind of search before they actually purchase, right? So this has something to do with the whole overall kind of awareness funnel. So apart from advertising solely on Amazon, we noticed that people definitely search through social, they purchase online. So again, this is great for us, right? We are already playing on an online platform. However, you want to notice that there's a few kinds of consumer behavior. They will browse first. So what this means for advertisers is leading up towards Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you will notice that you might get more clicks, right? People are going to click here, click there, right? I want to buy this gift, or I want to buy this bundle product. I'm going to click and browse around. So you might see a slight increase in ACOS. So you want to factor that in with your budget. And then secondly, you also want to ensure that your reviews are essentially in a good place. So any listings with below 4 reviews, you want to kind of create some kind of measure, find a way to kind of bring up your reviews to above 4. Otherwise, optimize your A+ content, optimize your hero image so that you don't lose out in terms of conversion. People will definitely, again, browse around for promotions. So advertising your deal ASIN, best practice for us in the Q4 season as well. So we want to be there when consumers are considering your brand, considering your product, so that when Black Friday, Cyber Monday hits, they will immediately make the decision and click buy now, essentially. So that's how we want to optimize. And definitely, I think the last thing is, how to push consumers over the edge, right? How do you get them to actually click checkout during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Definitely, we see that 60% of consumers are willing to spend more just to hit free shipping. So this is something you want to consider in your strategy for your Q4 holiday season. Is there a way to bundle your products together, encourage consumers to buy more of your product to hit a minimum amount for free shipping? That's something that is going to push sales for you once you are able to kind of offer free shipping or bundle, encourage bundling essentially to allow customers to hit free shipping. So that's something we want to try. And definitely, next we will go straight to our advertising strategy for our holiday season. So without further ado, this is how we kind of look at 3 kind of a bucket for our peak season consumer journey. So as the 4th quarter hits, this is where we call the preparation stage. So preparation stage, you want to create traffic for all your listings. So number 1, definitely Martina mentioned, you want to do listing optimization, A+ content optimization, store optimization. So you want to take a look at your store, see whether you want to create an additional widget or additional tab for Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. That's something you can explore. Then we will go to what we call the peak season. This is where the peak hits during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So that will be 16 November to 27 November. This is where you want to optimize for conversion and purchases, and your KPI will be conversions and purchases. Whereas for stage 1, it will be driving impressions and clicks. And of course, in the 3rd phase, which is post 27 November, right, we will say this is the spurt phase, or don't give up phase, don't turn off your phase, your advertising phase, because essentially there is still great opportunity to target the Christmas shoppers, the year-end shoppers. We often see actually for certain categories, the December period can actually have higher sales than October and November as well. So you want to pay attention to your brand. You want to re-engage people who have built your product, purchase your product before, and establish brand loyalty. You can do remarketing, retargeting on your previous audiences. Maybe they bought your product 1 year ago. You can actually remind them to repurchase now, 1 year later. So that's what we want to do. Essentially, number 1, when you create a traffic funnel, so some of the best practices are captured here. Oh, so sorry, there's some Korean text.
Oh, understood.
Really sorry, but essentially, firstly, when it comes to Amazon attribution, definitely what we want to do is, create attribution link connecting your brand social channels. So this is tied to our second insight earlier. People are looking at social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram for inspiration before buying on Amazon. So a good way for you to earn the brand referral bonus, get a bit of cash back from that, is to create attribution links. So you can create individual links for each of your social channels where the landing page is your Amazon listing. And if someone, for example, saw your ad on TikTok and they click through to the link onto your Amazon listing page and they make the purchase, you actually get a brand referral bonus back. And this also tells you essentially, you can make adjustments to your budget in the Q4. You are able to see essentially from your TikTok, your Google search, your Facebook ad campaign, which is generating the most sales on Amazon for you. And you can actually reallocate your spend accordingly throughout the entire Q4 period. Secondly, of course, create deals during your main ASIN. As we mentioned, people are looking for promotions, for deals. So don't forget to create your Prime exclusive discounts, lightning deals, and coupons now. And of course, advertise those ASINs, right? You don't want people to miss out on essentially the good deals that you're offering them. Number three, of course, focus on your basic product portfolio. So I would say focus on your hero ASINs, your longer selling, best selling ASINs. If you want to save on ACOS, you can don't advertise your in a way your worst ASINs, right? Just focus your efforts as well as your budgets on your hero ASINs. Of course, for your hero ASINs, right, you really want to do a creative quality check, which essentially is the listing check. If you can somehow create a gift set or a gifting message, that is also ideal for Q4 period. Number four is definitely, in terms of your delivery, what are you able to offer essentially? Are you able to offer prime shipping? When it comes to FBA inventory check, that's something you need to do as a checklist. And then subsequently, the other kind of way to create additional funnel for you, right, is to pay attention to a very important metric called new to brand metric. So you want to be actually targeting new customers outside of your category. So we often get sellers who like to bid on branded keywords. So for example, Hui Qi sunscreen or Hui Qi, facial cleanser. But you actually also want to be stealing traffic from competitor ASINs or just people searching broadly for sunscreen. So at the beginning phase, you want to be targeting category keywords as well as broader keywords before you optimize it towards phrase and exact match during the peak season. Secondly, of course, is to strengthen your brand uniqueness as well as to increase traffic. So here we recommend you to tell a brand story. I think most of our sellers here in Singapore are brand owners. So you have access to very unique tools like sponsored brands and sponsored video. So sponsored brand video ads actually have really high return on investment because you're occupying a huge space in the search results page, right? You are actually occupying almost 3 to 4 listings kind of real estate, and you're able to interrupt and grab people's eyeballs. So that's something that you want to take advantage of because top of search results page is where you get the most traffic and it's high return on investment, and you happen to have a nice video that will be really great for you to implement as a low-hanging fruit. And of course, I think for certain sellers who are established already, you can consider actually opening up to multiple marketplaces, such as Canada marketplace, UK marketplace, if you are in the position to do so. So this is an overview of how to create a traffic funnel. Secondly, definitely, even more tips, right, on how to create more traffic. Definitely, one of the low-hanging fruit is store spotlight. So having your own store is a free brand tool, right? If you haven't done it already, what are you waiting for? So essentially, please, set up your store. Do a competitor analysis and dress up your store appropriately for Q4. But of course, you want to drive traffic towards your store because your store is the only spot on Amazon where there is no competitor able to advertise on it. So you can do sponsored brand store spotlight. Essentially, it is a top of search result optimized ad listing. You will appear at the top of search, and essentially you're directing someone to complete like brand vacuum, right? It will be a Huiqi store vacuum, and they will be able to see, the different products you have in your product portfolio. So that's a great way again to drive traffic. They might not buy now, but they will be more aware of your brand. They'll be aware of your product portfolio, and that's a great way to improve consideration. Secondly, you can try to target your new customers within the same category. So this is what I mean to be a bit more aggressive. So you can use a hero ASIN, use a sponsored display campaign to appear on your competitor category, essentially just to target new customers who may not have bought your brand before. And number three, as I mentioned, sponsored brand video is something that drives very strong purchase interest. So definitely, top of search result page, very high traffic, and it's actually pretty optimized for conversion as well. So video creative, this is something that you can try if you have a great video on hand. Definitely on the right, I won't cover in detail. You feel free to take a screenshot if you want to optimize your brand store. So 7 ways to really create a high quality brand store. Definitely free brand tool. There's no cost involved, whether or not you run sponsored brand stores, but like you can even drive off Amazon traffic towards your store as well. That's also an option. So please make use of this free brand tool for the Q4 season. And of course, we noticed that during the peak season events, your audience are very open to discovering new brands. People are actually in the mood to discover new brands, new products that they've never bought before. So definitely, it's a great way for you to discover and get incremental sales apart from the people that you've already targeted previously. And definitely, the other interesting thing that we really want to drive, during the peak season is to drive conversion and purchases. So during the peak season, I think the very 3 top key actions for peak season, I won't overwhelm our sellers. Number 1 is to increase your sales via, defending as well as defending your hit products or your hero products, right? Essentially your top hitting products, bestsellers within your product portfolio. You want to defend it via sponsored products. So firstly, you want to increase your budget, and you want to create, like your best performing keywords, right? Major keywords you use as individual campaigns and increase the budgets on those. Then how do you defend essentially your hero ASINs, right? You want to run sponsored display ads. So I'm not sure if our sellers have noticed. It's very annoying when you are charged for your sponsored product clicks, but nobody buys it, right? So you notice high click-through rate, but very low conversion rate. This just means that you probably lost a click to a competitor ASIN that's appearing all around your listing on the right-hand side, on the bottom carousel. You notice that some brands always pop up and they are your competitor brands. So you want to avoid that situation by actually targeting your own ASINs. So you use one of your lower selling ASIN, and target your hero ASIN. So essentially, your brand Huiqi sunscreen appear here. On the right, Huiqi facial moisturizer appear here. Huiqi, another sunscreen product appear at the bottom, so that there's less likelihood of this leaky bucket and people leaking up towards your competitor brands. The second big thing that you really want to do is to maintain a sufficient budget. So one thing that people often miss out, right, is that they think, oh, like I'll just sustain my budget, right? Maybe I set $30 daily budget is enough. That's the max. But because we know it's Q4 period, people are coming in, they're gonna click, but they might not buy yet. Your ad campaigns are more likely to go out of budget. So the baseline that we recommend for our sellers is to increase your budget by 100 to 200%, leading up towards Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so as to ensure that your ads stay live and they don't get shut off. And the most important thing is you don't want to be shut off between 16 to 27 of November. So you can set additional budget rule to increase your budget spend during this time frame only, and it will end during this time frame as well, between 16 to 27 November, just so your ads don't get turned off and you don't lose all that sales and all that clicks, right? Definitely, the third option we also encourage sellers is to pay attention to your hero ASINs. Find out where you're getting your sales from. You're able to look under placements within your campaign to see if you're getting orders from, for example, top of search. Are you getting it from product pages, or are you getting it from rest of search, which is often not the case. It's either top of search or product pages. So if, for example, you're getting most of your orders from top of search, we actually encourage sellers to disproportionately bid for top of search ad placement. So increase your bid. You can do a bid modifier for top of search, increase upwards from 50% to even more depending on your budget to capture all the additional traffic from top of search placement. Yeah, and again, as I mentioned, sellers, it's very interesting during the Q4 shopping period, right? One very interesting observation is also that post the peak season, shoppers are actually still in the mood to make a purchase. It's very often time they are human and they just forgot to buy during the shopping event. Even if it's not advertised, they still need to buy a gift for Christmas, right? So you don't want to lose out on that sale as well. So post your shopping event, you also don't want to immediately turn off all your campaigns. You can definitely lower your budget, you can lower your bid, but I will say continue advertising towards until the end of the year, because it's very highly likely your shoppers are going to make a repurchase. It could be that your product also went out of stock, so they want to repurchase it when it comes back in stock. And of course, they will be shopping for other seasons or other kind of events like Christmas. So that's our recommendation for post the shopping period as well. So essentially, this is again for the post period, right? How to drive conversion in after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. As we mentioned, you really want to maintain your advertising campaign, lower your budget, lower your bid is fine. But of course, don't pause or end especially your well-performing ad campaigns. Secondly, you also want to reconnect with your potential customers with sponsored display ads. So under sponsored display, you can choose a targeting method under Amazon Audiences, which are essentially views remarketing or purchase remarketing. So for views remarketing, they are people who have viewed your ad before, but they just somehow forgot to buy, didn't buy. You can retarget them. And of course, purchase remarketing are people have bought your product, but maybe they bought it 1 year ago. So you can actually remind, especially if you're the kind of product that has a repurchase habit, like sunscreen, like skincare, or certain tools that people replenish after a year, after a few months. You can reconnect with them and encourage them to make a purchase. And of course, coming after Black Friday, Cyber Monday is what season? Is Christmas season, right? So it is a great time for you to do some kind of brand store optimization. You can actually dress up your store to optimize for Christmas. You can even create a separate ad campaign with event keywords like Christmas gift. Gifts for boyfriend, gifts for husband, gifts for wives, gifts for girlfriends. You can actually gain additional traffic from this kind of gifting related keywords. You don't have to bid very high for those, but it will give you just that much incremental traffic towards your brand. And of course, as always, brand store is there for you. Constantly try to update it, with even higher resolution pictures, with seasonal pictures, with new tags, in order to essentially just drive conversion rate for you post the peak season as well. So I won't cover this, but this is a cheat sheet. We highly recommend sellers, you can screenshot this, save this, and we are also available on playback. But this will be your cheat sheet in terms of Q4 season, what to do in the preparation phase, in the peak phase, and as well as in the post-peak season phase. So do screenshot, and of course available for playback on our QR code. Yeah, and last but not least, for our Q4 season is how to allocate your budget, right? If the whole Q4 is 3 months, how do I allocate my budget here and there? So again, throughout the year, we actually do see that there is going to be much higher spending for the Q4 period, because again, it is almost considered three shopping events jam-packed into 1 quarter. So do factor in higher budget. I would say, highly recommend sellers to increase your budget by 200 to 300%, allocate it for Q4. And definitely, this is how you should be splitting your budget. Whatever budget you have, this is a broad guideline in terms of how to allocate your spend across the season. So I also encourage sellers to look at their 2022, behavior. Do you actually see your peak coming during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or are you the category that you see a peak during Christmas period, which is a gifting related kind of a period? It could also be the case, right? Like for example, certain categories like toys and furniture, sometimes we actually see more sales in December versus October and November. So you can adjust, but essentially you want to allocate almost 40% of your spend to what is your peak season week and keep it there. But of course, the preparation phase is important beforehand because you want to drive traffic, right? You want to drive new to brand customers, get them to consider your brand, get them to see your brand in the first place before they make the purchase. So 30%, 3 weeks before your peak season. And then after that, your remaining budget, continue advertising for 1 week plus after your peak season as well. So that's our budget allocation proposal. Of course, adjust accordingly to each of your businesses. But if you're a new seller, this will be our guideline for peak season this year. So thank you, everyone. I hope the peak season for Q4 has been useful, and I hope everyone earns a lot of money for Q4. And yes, handing it back to Jin Liang.
Hey, thank you, Huiqi and Martina. So before that, right, I will just share with you, we do have a peak season seller success strategy guide. If you have not downloaded it yet, do remember to download. This is created by Seller University. Yep, and I'll leave it here a few seconds. So I'm going to move on to the next part, which is the questions that we got from you, all of you here. So again, I will try to keep it short since we are a little bit over time. All right, so first question that I got from one of you here is, what are the best tips for generic products to get buyer? All right, so given that we have Martina here, I'm going to move over, and then you can see both of us together. I don't know. Can. All right.
Okay.
Great. So maybe I will pose this question to you then, Martina, if you can help our sellers.
I think the best tip for generic product, usually we have this thing called perfect launch, right? Whereby for Amazon, we do have this thing called brand registry that allows you to have features like A+ content, as well as like brand analytics to basically know how is your brand standing in Amazon. But first thing first is that even if you don't have the brand registry, your listing must be pretty tight lah. I would say if you do a good job with your listings as well as your photos, chance are that you will get a buyer. Of course, with sponsored products as well to push your ads as well as coupons, because when you are new, chance are is that customers do not know about your brand, right? So you do want to have like coupons to actually reduce the price so that people will be like, okay, maybe let me just try it out. So yes, so listings, your photos, sponsored products, and coupons. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing the tips. Yeah, and of course, review everything that what Martina has covered earlier on. So regardless of whether generic or branded, right, I will believe all the tips applies. In terms of optimizing the listing. And of course, there are some things that is only applicable for a brand owner. Then that is something that you need to get yourself enrolled in the brand registry. Then you can use like A+ content, sponsored brands, etc. But other than that, everything all these optimization tips that was covered definitely applies to all of the listing, regardless whether it's generic or branded.
Yes.
Okay, so let us look at the Q&A if there's any more questions or not, huh? Okay, so if you have more questions, let us know here. Now, if not, right, I'm going to run a short giveaway, which I mentioned. So while you're thinking of what questions to type,
Ooh, giveaway.
Today, everyone, lucky. So we have a travel bag, good for this traveling season. So we actually give this out during the Sellers Summit in Singapore, like MBS, a couple of weeks ago. So right now, for those of you who stay with us to the end of the session, so use your email that registered, send me your name, your contact number, and address. For now, only Singapore address. So if you have a Singapore address, send to this email that I'm going to share in the chat. All right, by today, and then I will send it over to you. So this is how it looks like. You can zip and unzip. We're like live streamer.
Yeah. Buy now, buy some free, so it's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna type the email to send to. Remember your name, your contact number, and your address, a Singapore address. So overseas viewers, so sorry, right now I have not figured out how to send it to overseas yet. But if you have some friends in Singapore, you can put the address of their Singapore home address. All right, I saw a question. Let's see. All right. Okay, let me read the question. If the first seller put up the listing with low quality main image, to some extent, it will affect the conversion rate of other sellers who offer the same item. Other than offering a better price, any other ways to improve the conversion rate? Thank you.
Okay. I think in this case, you're probably like a reseller. I would say you should try to do sponsored product, but that being said, I think as a reseller, it's a little bit difficult. My take, right, would be to, if you can, because technically speaking, if you can resell a particular product, that means you are in contact with the parent brand, right? So that being said, I would say that one way is either to basically contact the parent brand and say like, hey, do make some changes here and there, because when you are able to resell, right, the parent brand needs to approve that you can actually sell. Yeah, so that would be one way. Or if not, you can do sponsored products. That means to say that when you do sponsored products, right, the click button is to your listing. It's not to the parent brand or any other resellers. So that could be one way. Yeah.
Thank you, Martina. So yeah, that's one of the challenges where if you are, reselling, you might face. So we
Yeah,
always
correct.
encourage, seller to have their own brand, so they
Yeah.
have control over those images. Yes.
Yeah, actually that is very true. Yeah, we really encourage that, because resellers yeah lah, there's more challenges.
Yeah. You can do it, but again, the challenges will be like you'll be under the mercy of the original person who lists it.
Yeah.
The issue you mentioned here, or some other issue that potentially could happen.
Yeah, correct.
All right. Okay. Any more questions? Other sellers can change image put up by the first seller. Yeah, I think Martina answered already. Yeah, you can either put in a request and it's subject to approval as well for any changes to the so-called original listing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so if you have more questions, let us